Hi, I'm Paul Battaglia, and this is section 3.3, Properties of Logarithms. You know, a great way to introduce the properties to students without them having any knowledge really of them is to actually fill out a table. So what I'll do is I'll actually give my students a table with the x values 1 through 10, and I'll even throw in there maybe 15 or 20. And I'll ask my students to compute the log of every one of those numbers. So log of 1, log of 2, all the way up to 10, including log of 15. Then what I'll have them do, and again, they're doing this on their own, is I'll have them compute certain combinations of those logs. So I might say, find the value of log 3 plus log 5. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm keeping this in base 10 right now, so we don't have to worry too much about anything other than base 10. And then I want them to see that when they do log 3 plus log 5, that it actually coincides with the value they got when they evaluated log of 15. So it's just an introductory activity, but it actually makes the teacher's job so much easier because they are actually discovering the properties as they do them real time. Now there is one that I've always struggled with, so I brought Gabe and Brittany to help me out a little bit. Gabe, can you help me a little bit with a way that I could have my students really master the change of base?
Sure. So the change of base formula is one of the first formulas that they show in this section. And I like to go through just a couple examples of demonstrating how the change of base formula works.
Okay.
So maybe start with an equation such as y equals log base 3 of 5.
Okay.
And say, well, we don't have a log base 3 button on our calculator.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if we can work with this equation and turn it into a log base 10 equation.
Okay.
And what we'll do here is we'll use the properties of exponential equations and logarithmic equations to rewrite this.
Okay.
And eventually we'll get there, and maybe after a few examples, we'll start to notice a pattern. So rewriting all of these, they all sort of look the same.
Right.
And then what I do is I say, okay, well, we want to be able to change the base maybe several times throughout a problem.
Okay, to whatever base we want.
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
so we want to be able to change to whatever base we want, not just base 10 or base e.
Sure.
So where I go from here is I set up, okay, well, what if we have log base b of an argument a, and we want to change this to something in terms of log base, I don't know, c.
Okay.
So the way that I teach my students to memorize this formula is that it's going to be log base c of a goes in the attic.
Oh, okay.
Because the
A for
argument,
attic, yeah.
yep,
Okay.
a in the attic. And we're dividing this by log base c of b. So the log base c of b goes in the basement.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
So they can help memorize, at least sort of piece together where each of the pieces go. And now, all of a sudden, they've rewritten log base b of a in terms of this log base c.
Okay, perfect. See, and that's great, yeah, because you know what, now what happens is, now I don't think they're worried too much about the memorization because really what they're thinking is attic and basement, you know, and it's it's just natural.
Yep.
You know? So now that we've gotten the properties under our belt, right, how do I get, Brittany, students to get better at them?
The best way is just lots of examples and
practice.
practice, yep. And especially because some of them will be making lots of mistakes, but just tell them, keep practicing, make those mistakes. A lot of students will make the mistake for the property, you know, they'll say log of a plus b is equal to log of a plus log of b.
Oh, okay, so they separate the addition.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And then also they forget that they can expand and condense them.
Oh, okay.
And you can flip them around.
And so that they should be equal. So now we're getting to do both. We're saying expand these expressions, and then a couple of problems later we'll say condense them, and then they should be seeing that they're equivalent.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. So now we have a lot of good tips to go forward with. I hope you find much success in section 3.3.